Welcome to Crossing the River, a podcast that amplifies the voices of Indigenous leaders from around the world. In each episode, they share their wisdom, experiences, and urgent advice for a world in crisis. Before we begin, know that Crossing the River takes a deliberate and distinctive approach to translation. You will hear the voices of Indigenous leaders directly. This is an invitation to listen deeply, to feel their message in their own words, and to pay attention to meaning beyond language, embracing the power behind their voices. This is an invitation to cross the river. Crossing the River is produced by the More Than Human Life Moth Project, based at the Center for Human Rights and Global Justice at NYU School of Law and 070 Podcast.
Walim merabe. Urutsunda jibore pashablateken muni burabelaimbe. Urumaya bore pashablateken kerikuik chubabama irelaimbe. Urayana walim meralateken peshugui wanjo arabelaimbe. Urube tujibore vajoblateken. Uretabui kashate burabelaimbe. Injil tam maitab lija manibelaimbe. Managen orei mublateiken. Walim merabe.
This is a poem written by Bárbara Muelas Hurtado, also known as Mama Bárbara. Time is far too slow for those who wait and despair, far too fast for those who fear and hide, far too long for those who are ill and suffer, far too short for those who are happy. Time never passes for those who truly love and live in unity. Such is time. Mama Bárbara is a writer, poet, intercultural teacher, linguist, and translator of Namtrik, the language of her people, the Misak indigenous people, an indigenous nation that lived in what is now known as Colombia. A leader who at nearly 80 years old has dedicated her life to protecting her land and her community through the preservation of her mother tongue.
Nabe Mama Bárbara que ve. Unikuje Bárbara munchiguay. Yabe nane chugben unami nebui uninatan. Use buñip puruku milu misamiran puruku buñip oreguan puruku kelelan puruku matzerelan susalwan puruku che güey nabe namjikwan kushenan namjikwan purashkap che guninatani ya chui krena yuwamindamibe namjikwan ure mira pesan namre ure mira gucho namjikwan waminje change mwene namui wam pinenjabugba shaken freaking.
Mama Bárbara introduces herself in Namtrik, but she also speaks Spanish. The Misak are a people of approximately 28,000 who live in the Guambia Cabildo, a legal figure similar to the reservations located in southwestern Colombia. Mama Bárbara writes in her language, Namtrik, and is a translator. She has played a fundamental role in putting on paper a language that has historically been oral, passed down from generation to generation.
Yo escribo mi lengua para protegerla.
She writes her language to protect it. At the end of 2024, Bárbara Muelas was appointed as a member of the Colombian Academy of Language. She is the first indigenous woman to receive this recognition in the history of this centuries-old institution, founded in 1871 in a country where, despite colonization, 65 indigenous languages still survive. That figure was mentioned by Mama Bárbara in her induction speech on July 6, 2025, in the ceremony organized by the Academy. There, she spoke about the relationship between time and space in the Misak thought, which is profoundly different from how it is understood in Western culture.
Son realidades profundamente entretejidas. El tiempo no es una línea recta que avanza hacia adelante, más bien es una corriente viva que nos rodea continuamente. Para nosotros, el pasado Mejavshe está delante porque ya lo conocemos, lo hemos vivido y podemos verlo claramente. Nuestros mayores caminan delante de nosotros abriendo senderos y dejando huellas que seguimos por respeto y cuidado. El futuro Huaytexen, en cambio, está atrás, oculto a nuestra vista. Nos sigue silencioso, desconocido, lleno de incertidumbre y posibilidades.
Time and space are deeply interwoven realities. Time is not a straight line moving forward. Instead, it is a living stream that continuously surrounds them. The past lies ahead because it moves forward, because they know it, have lived it, and can see it clearly. Their elders walk before them, opening paths and leaving traces that they follow with respect and care. The future, on the other hand, is behind them, hidden from view, silent, unknown, filled with uncertainty and possibility. The way Mama Barbara understands space also drifts away from the Western concept of static cardinal points, which are seen as still geographies.
El espacio se entiende como una serie de espirales expansivas que parten siempre desde un punto de referencia relacionado. Nuestra casa, más específicamente, el Nakuk, el fogón. Este fogón es mucho más que un simple lugar donde se cocina, es el corazón espiritual y social de nuestra familia y comunidad. Allí aprendemos, conversamos, resolvemos conflictos y se transmiten nuestros saberes ancestrales. Desde ese punto central se va desenvolviendo el espacio, extendiéndose poco a poco mediante el acto de caminar y conversar.
Space is understood as a series of expanding spirals that always begin from a relational point of reference, the home, and more specifically, the nakuk, the stove burner. This stove is far more than just a place for cooking. It is the spiritual and social heart of Misak family and community. From this central point, space unfolds gradually, extending outward through the acts of walking and speaking. Teacher Barbara Muelas explained that her goal in sharing these reflections is to show how, through language, we can enrich our view of the world and our mutual understanding.
Cada idioma lleva consigo una forma única de ver y entender la relación y al conocer otras formas de percepción, como la Misak, aprendemos no solo de otras culturas, sino también sobre nosotros mismos y sobre que nos une como humanidad diversa y plural.
Each language carries a unique way of seeing and understanding the world. By exploring worldviews as the Misak, we not only learn about other cultures, but also gain insight into ourselves and what connects us as a diverse and plural humanity.
Mi presencia aquí representa la esperanza de un futuro donde nuestras voces indígenas sean escuchadas, no solo desde la tolerancia, sino desde un interés auténtico y una valoración genuina hacia nuestra forma de entender el mundo.
Her presence as a new member of the Colombian Academy of Language symbolizes the hope for a future in which indigenous voices are not just tolerated, but truly heard, with genuine interest and sincere appreciation for their way of understanding the world.
Yo soy lingüista que pues me estudié para aprender la técnica y poder escribir la lengua. Entonces yo escribo poemas, yo escribo cositas así, cartillas pedagógicas para los maestros, escribo cartillas para niños, también escribo para la gente, para los mayores también, como historias. Bueno, son muchas cosas las que yo he hecho.
She is a linguist. She studied in order to learn the techniques needed to write her language. Now she has written poetry, educational booklets for teachers, materials for children, and stories for the elders as well. she says, I've done many things. In 1991, Mama Barbara was hired to translate the ethnic component of the Colombian Constitution into Namtric, the articles related to the rights of the indigenous peoples. As a teacher, she promoted the creation of educational materials to help students learn how to write and read in Namtric. She has been one of the first people to write in a language that has historically been oral. Her achievements made her a well-known leader in Colombia, one who, in addition, has a great sense of humor.
No, no, no es eso. Yo no soy ninguna famosa. Yo soy Mama Bárbara nada más.
I'm not famous, she says, just Barbara. Mama Barbara protects her language in order to protect her culture, her land, and their way of interacting with the world. It is a way of ensuring that the Misak people continue to exist through time and space. In the poem she read at the beginning, Mama Barbara speaks of time as connection. Time never passes for those who truly love and live in unity. This reflects how, for the Misak Nation, time, space, language, and thought are all part of a single, vital, and complex web of relationships, where each word carries a life of its own.
La lengua es pensamiento y pensamiento es lengua, ¿no? Entonces la lengua está en el territorio porque la naturaleza nos dio ese lenguaje. Y de allí sale todo. De ahí, de la naturaleza.
Time is thought, and thought is time. The language is in the territory, because words come from nature, from the relationship of humans with more than humans. In Namtric, the Misak language, the territory does not have a static or fixed name. On the contrary, it is dynamic, referred to as a spoken territory. Mama Barbara explains that the territory only exists to the extent that it is walked, spoken about, and collectively shared. However, to locate it geographically, currently the majority of the Misak people live in the Guambia Reservation, located in the municipality of Silvia, in the department of Cauca.
En Colombia tenemos varios departamentos, en uno de esos un departamento es el Cauca. En el Cauca tenemos una diversidad de personas, tenemos yanaconas, tenemos nazas, tenemos guambianos, tenemos mestizos, campesinos, tenemos mucha gente.
Mama Barbara explains that in Cauca live a vast diversity of people. There are Yanacona, Nasa, and Misak or Guambiano communities, as well as mestizos and land workers. The Misak people can be easily recognized by their traditional clothing. A flat hat made from palma tetera, a native plant fiber of the region. Women wear two shawls, one blue, the other red or fuchsia, and a black skirt. Men wear a black ruana, a traditional woolen cloak, and a blue skirt. The colors are based on the Misak flag, and each one holds symbolic meaning. Red represents the blood shed during colonization and the struggles of the Misak people. Blue stands for water, black symbolizes the Mother Earth and the land, and white represents peace and harmony within the territory.
Colocamos un sombrero así, vestimos, colocamos collares, vestimos diferentes, somos iguales, vestimos casi la mayoría iguales, todos iguales, y hablamos el mismo idioma.
The day we spoke with her, Mama Barbara was wearing the traditional attire. Her hair is gray, her skin softened by the passage of time, and though she may seem serious, she laughs whenever she gets the chance. She welcomes us from the kitchen of her home on the territory, with the stove on her back, calling our attention to the heart. Behind her, small details of her daily life peek through. A few appliances, a black and white calendar, a portrait of a woman. Mama Barbara says that to understand the Misak people, one must first understand their origins.
Nosotros somos hijos del agua, decimos eso, es nuestro origen, que nosotros siempre hemos hablado, nuestros ancestros, nuestros mayores siempre han hablado de Piurek. Piurek quiere decir hijos del agua.
They are the offspring of water. Purek in Misak means the offspring of water. They are children of the water because they are children of the páramo. The páramo is a unique high-altitude ecosystem, and Colombia is home to 43% of the world's páramos. These landscapes are defined by low vegetation, sponge-like moss-covered soil, and unique Andean plants such as frailejones. Each plant there is perfectly adapted to capture and store water. That's why páramos are often called water factories. They cover only 2% of Colombia's territory, yet provide 70% of the country's drinking water. The land where the Misak have historically lived includes 3 landscapes. The highest is the páramo, at 3,200 meters above sea level, called Querac in Misak. Below that lies the Andean forest, called Cauche, and farther down is the sub-Andean forest, known as Guambiche, at 1,800 meters above sea level. This is where animals are raised and crops like corn and coffee are grown.
Al páramo le decimos Querrac. Querrac. A la parte más baja le decimos Cauche. Y la parte más baja le decimos Huambi. Y la parte más caliente le decimos Huambiche. Eso es como los pisos térmicos que tenemos. Querrac es el páramo. Cauche es la parte baja donde está la montaña. Ya sale del páramo y es donde hay más árboles y todo eso. Ya la parte más baja es donde producen ya animales, ya se puede cultivar y todo eso. Y Huambiche ya es como la parte baja ya, donde se da maíz, donde se da ya café, todo eso. Entonces decimos no Huambiche. Entonces tenemos los pisos térmicos en nuestra lengua.
While the lower, warmer zones are suitable for agriculture, the páramo or Querac is cold, covered by thick, constant mist. The páramo within the Guambia Reservation is the birthplace of the Misak people.
En el páramo tenemos 2 lagunas, que esos 2 lagunas es él y ella. Tienen sus nombres, no sé desde cuándo, eso es milenariamente. Eso hay la laguna hembra que se llama Ñimbi, es ella. Ñi es tú, en la lengua, el vocablo ñi es ella. Y el vocablo uy, que es novilla, uy, es él. Entonces resulta que tenemos 2 lagunas que es masculino y femenino. Y de esas lagunas dice que el arco iris lo fecundizó y de eso resultaron los hijos del agua. Y que nosotros somos descendientes de los hijos del agua. Esa historia que para nosotros no es ninguna leyenda.
In the páramo, there are 2 sacred lakes, one male and one female. They've had their names for as long as anyone can remember, passed down through countless generations. The female lake is called Ñimbe. In the Misak language, Ñi means she and Ri means he. These lakes represent the feminine and masculine forces of nature. According to Misak oral tradition, the rainbow once touched these lakes and fertilized them, giving birth to the children of the water. The Misak considered themselves descendant of these children.
Eso es historia, entonces. Además están las lagunas ahí. Y el arco iris siempre se posa ahí. Entonces ahí tenemos eso, que somos hijos del agua. Somos partos de la naturaleza.
Mama Bárbara insists, this is not a myth or a legend. It is history, rooted in the living presence of the lakes themselves. The rainbow still appears there, resting above the water. That's why they say, we are children of water, born of nature itself. Hence, the páramo is sacred to the Misak, but it is also a vital ecosystem in the fight against climate change, as it stores 6 times more carbon per area than tropical forests. However, it is at risk of disappearing. For the Misak, their history is inseparable from the páramo.
Nosotros somos un grupo que siempre laboramos la tierra, estamos ahí, somos agricultores, vivimos en tierra fría, pero en un solo lugar, un territorio grande pues que da productos de clima frío y otros de clima cálido, bueno, en fin.
We are people that have always worked the land. While we live in the cold areas, our territory yields products of warm and colder weathers. However, reaching the point where the Misak people are today, having the legal titles over their lands, a strong political organization, and women leaders who protect the language and teach it in schools has been the result of a long struggle. Mama Barbara was born on November 14, 1945, in Oscoampik, also known as the Hacienda of the Great Chimán. From the moment she was born, her family worked the land.
Nosotros somos de este municipio de Silvia, en un lugar, nacimos en un lugar que se llama Oscoampik, pero ese territorio fue, ¿cómo se dice? Puedo decir, fue robado por los terratenientes y vivimos ahí y fuimos terrajeros. Nosotros, mi familia, mis padres, mis abuelos, todos fuimos terrajeros. Entonces, ser terrajero es como ser esclavos. Entonces vivimos hasta que nos liberamos en los años 80. Veníamos luchando mucho rato para liberar esas tierras hasta que por fin liberamos en los años 80.
Her family, like many others, lived there as terrajeros. Being a terrajero was like being a slave, says Mama Bárbara. Her parents, grandparents, and ancestors all lived this way. Terraje was a system of forced labor imposed on indigenous peoples, inheriting the structures of domination established during the Spanish conquest. The encomenderos or colonists took control of the lands in the region, creating large privately owned estates. The landowners owned everything, and indigenous communities were turned into laborers who had to pay for living on what had once been their own land through both physical work and a portion of their harvest. By the 19th century, during the Republican era, these estates came to be known as haciendas. Mama Bárbara was born on one of them, the Gran Chimán. As she recounts, born into a family of terrajeros. In addition to living under harsh and precarious conditions, indigenous peoples were also forced to learn Spanish and adopt Catholicism. It wasn't until the 1980s, after years of struggle, that they finally regained their land and achieved a form of liberation.
Nosotros nacimos con la lengua. Mi lengua materna es el Namric. Entonces, pues no lo habíamos perdido en la casa, sino que cuando fuimos a la escuela, pues uno no ha perdido, sino que aprendimos otra lengua. Entonces uno se volvió bilingüe, no sé en qué momento, con lo que aprendió en la calle, la necesidad nos obligó a hablar otra lengua, en el mercado, el trueque que hacemos del mercado, pues, todo eso aprendimos, la otra lengua. Pero entonces, la enseñanza en las escuelas, todo aprendimos lo de afuera. Todo lo de afuera, porque pues la escuela enseña a aprender el castellano, aprender las cosas de afuera, todo lo de afuera. Entonces, no estamos enseñando lo nuestro.
Namtric is her mother tongue, spoken at home. But when she started attending school, just like all Misak children, she was introduced to Spanish. Over time, they became bilingual, not through choice, but through necessity. Misak children were only allowed to speak Namtric at home. They were forced to learn what comes from the outside, as Mama Bárbara puts it. It wasn't just about language. it was an imposed culture, and disobedience had consequences. Mama Bárbara remembers it clearly from her own childhood.
Entonces, esa era la educación que recibíamos los indígenas, los niños indígenas. Y si no aprendíamos bien el castellano, nos castigaban de una manera drástica. Por ejemplo, nos hacían arrodillar sobre las pepas de maíz o bueno, lo que sea, nos castigaban para que aprendieran la lengua castellana y se olvidaran lo otro.
If Misak children didn't learn Spanish properly, they were punished harshly. They were forced to kneel on corn kernels or other painful objects. The goal was to make them learn Spanish and forget everything else. Since the 19th century, the Misak people led various movements against the Terraje system. They organized and fought to reclaim the lands that legally and historically belonged to them.
Ahora, más sin embargo, en los años 80, con la recuperación de la tierra, no éramos libres. Ya veníamos luchando, seguimos recuperando todo, como queriendo recuperar la lengua, recuperar la historia, recuperar todo. Después de recuperar la tierra, queríamos recuperarlo todo.
It wasn't until 1980, when Mama Bárbara was 35 years old, that the fourth and final major mobilization of the Misak people took place. They succeeded in reclaiming El Gran Chimán, the hacienda where Mama Bárbara had grown up, and reintegrated it into the Guambia legal titles. Once the land was recovered, the Misak people began to reclaim their identity, their connection to the territory, and their ancestral knowledge. Nowadays, the Guambia territory spans 18,000 hectares, including farmland, rocky terrain, and páramo. However, their ancestral lands are still not fully legally recognized by the Colombian state. They aim to recover everything: their culture, food systems, spirituality, to restore every aspect of their lives and cosmovision that colonialism and Terraje had sought to erase. And it was through this movement that Mama Bárbara found her life's purpose.
Entonces, en la parte mía yo empecé a recuperar la lengua, porque la lengua, así como perdimos la tierra, perdimos también la lengua. La lengua fue minorizada porque el territorio se volvió pequeño, ya la gente estaba ahí, pues pues ya no tenía cómo salir a hablar, porque ya los lugares topónimos que tenían, los ríos, los árboles, el nombre de eso ya se había perdido. Entonces ya quedamos en un rinconcito con los arbolitos que hay allí, con los ríos, las quebradas que quedaron allí. Entonces la lengua fue minorizada. Por eso quisimos salir adelante.
Her path was to reclaim the language, because just as they had lost their land, they had also begun to lose their language. The more than humans that once had names in Namtrik, rivers, trees, landmarks, had been erased or forgotten. The Misak leaders understood clearly that educating their children was essential. They needed to teach them their own history, the history of the Misak people, and begin to build an educational space where Misak culture would take center stage. They wanted to recover their history. To know Christopher Columbus or Simón Bolívar weren't the only founding figures of Colombia. It was time to talk about the great caciques and leaders who fought for their people too.
En un momento dado tocó que decirle, vea, mire, no solamente es Cristóbal Colón, no solamente es Simón Bolívar, no solamente esos los padres de la patria que están hablando en el momento. Nosotros hemos tenido grandes caciques, grandes líderes que han luchado por nosotros. A los maestros nos recalcaron de que todo maestro debe ser investigador. Uno investiga en una cosa, el otro la historia, el otro la lingüística, el otro, bueno, en fin.
Each Misak teacher was expected to be a researcher. The mission was not only to teach, but also to recover valuable knowledge and document the wisdom that had long been ignored or erased. Each teacher had a role in uncovering and preserving different aspects of Misak knowledge. For Mama Bárbara, this was a call to action.
Entonces nos dio pues ese como un latigazo en la forma de pensar, nos hicieron reflexionar, nos hicieron pensar para que enseñáramos también lo propio. Entonces, recuperar eso también, la educación propia, cómo se enseñaban, cómo se enseñan los valores propios, que eran muy interesantes y que nos hicieron olvidar. Entonces, todo eso, por ahí hemos empezado. Y ahí es cuando unos empezaron a recuperar la historia, a recuperar la educación, yo empecé a recuperar la lengua.
Mama Bárbara describes it as a jolt that changed their way of thinking. They were pushed to reflect and encouraged to begin teaching their own knowledge and traditions. It was about reclaiming their own education. That's how Mama Bárbara devoted herself to the study of her language and enrolled in linguistics at the University of Valle. There, she gained the technical and phonetic foundations needed to learn how to write an oral language like Namtric and to develop methods for teaching it in schools and high schools, alongside Spanish.
Esa necesidad me obligó a ser lingüista, entonces fui a estudiar a una universidad, que es la Universidad del Valle, y logré sacar la maestría en lingüística y español, y por eso medio hablo español, lo que antes no hablaba. Eso, entonces estoy en la recuperación de las dos lenguas. A ver si aprendo a hablar algún día.
Mama Bárbara became an intercultural and bilingual educator. She began by teaching preschool children, and with each year of experience, she moved on to teaching older students. While teaching, she also completed her master's degree in linguistics. This was in 1991, a time when Colombia was drafting a new political constitution. Unlike the previous one, which was centralized and exclusionary, the new constitution expanded democracy, recognized the rights of indigenous and Afro-Colombian peoples, and protected the country's cultural diversity. For the first time, it included an ethnic chapter.
En el año 91, cuando la Constitución, y como yo estaba haciendo lingüística en la Universidad del Valle en ese momento que todavía no había terminado la tesis, pero que yo estaba trabajando mi lengua, y buscaron personas de diferentes comunidades, porque fuimos 7 comunidades que hicimos la traducción de la Constitución.
Although she hadn't finished her thesis, she was already working deeply with her language. Mama Bárbara was well known in her municipality for writing the Guambiano anthem, a symbol of her people. She was also recognized as the author of poems and educational booklets in Namtric. At that time, the government sought out people from various indigenous communities to help translate the new constitution, and it was the governor of the reservation who recommended her to take part in the translation of the new constitution. Alongside the Misak, the participating communities were the Inga, Ikun, Kamenza, Cubio, Wayuu, and Nasa peoples.
Fue para mí pues un reto muy grande, porque traducir una constitución de un lenguaje político de alta, ¿cómo digo yo? Es un lenguaje que en español es sí, de alta política, un lenguaje de alta política. Puedo decir que era difícil para una lengua que no tiene escritura, que apenas estaba yo empezando a escribir con técnica en ese momentito. Ya había aprendido a hacer las cosas, ya había aprendido a escribir muchas cosas en ese momento, estando en la universidad.
Mama Bárbara says it was a tremendous challenge. Translating a political document like the Constitution, written in complex, high-level legal language, was no easy task, especially into a language that had no written tradition.
Entonces, con un grupo de maestros y un abogado, con él que me decía, me explicaba, esto quiere decir esto así, quiere decir, me explicaba de una manera, de otra, para que yo entendiera qué quería decir un artículo. Entonces, esa fue la forma de traducir y lo traduje y me quedó la traducción bonita porque yo hacía muchas reuniones con profesores, muchas reuniones con el cabildo, y hacíamos unas creaciones que no había, donde no había palabras que no existían. Entonces, las creaciones tenía que tener una lógica del por qué creábamos esas palabras.
While a lawyer helped break down each article of the Constitution, Mama Barbara and other Misak teachers searched for ways to express them in Namtrik. It wasn't just about translation, it was about creating words that didn't yet exist and giving them meaning rooted in their own worldview. For the Misak, to name something is not simply to say it, it's to establish a relationship with what is being named. That's why Mama Barbara translated line by line, then returned to her community to listen, reflect, and adjust. Together, they built a way of expressing the law through their language and perspective. But the main challenge was the exercise of inventing new words for ideas that had never existed before in Namtrik.
Esa constitución es creada por la gente de los doctores de la ley, que conocen todas sus normas normas. Entonces, son palabras rebuscadas ahí para escribir la constitución. Y uno ahí que, como le digo, traducir en una lengua nunca escrita, entonces es complicado. Es que toca que cranear para hacerla, para crearla. Entonces, busca precisamente la naturaleza. La naturaleza tiene muchas cosas.
There wasn't even a direct translation for the word constitution. Until that point, the Misak had never needed to name the supreme law of a country that defines its political system. So Mama Barbara looked to the land, to the territory itself, as the source to root these concepts in her language.
Como la lengua está en la naturaleza, la lengua de nosotros es naturaleza. A ver si yo encuentro alguna palabra aquí, por ejemplo. Decir la misma palabra constitución. Eso fue muy duro, Constitución Política de Colombia. Entonces, colocamos ahí, no vamos a rey, como en traducción sería la palabra mayor escrita para que sea así. Algo más o menos en otra traducción, en otro castellano guavianizado.
To translate political constitution of Colombia, she created a word that would mean the great written word. Another word that needed translation or creation was article. In the context of a constitution, an article is a numbered paragraph or section that defines a specific rule or principle.
Por ejemplo, decir artículo. La palabra articulación, artículo, todo eso, esa palabra la creamos. ¿De dónde la sacamos? De un árbol que tiene varios nudos.
The territory showed them a tree full of nuts, just like the articles in the Constitution, and they used the name of that tree. Another term that didn't exist in Namtrik was mining. In Guambia, there are no mines, but the Constitution talks about it, so Mama Barbara thought, mining is something that comes from beneath the earth, and it is extracted to be sold. In Namtrik, pire means earth or ground. Can refer to metal or anything similar, and shul means the root of the earth. So she proposed a new compound word, combining these ideas. Something like pire am shul, metal from the earth's root, that becomes part of the economy. She brought this idea to the community, and everyone agreed.
Otra palabra que encontramos, nosotros acá en Guambía no tenemos minerías. Entonces la gente nunca trabajó en minerías, pero allá aparecen minerías protección de las minerías, todo eso. Entonces, ¿qué hice yo ahí? Entonces le dije, una minería está debajo de la tierra. Petróleo, como todos los metales están debajo de la tierra. ¿Y para qué extraen eso? Extraen eso para hacer plata, para hacer riqueza, para venderlas, entonces eso nos dio pie para crear una palabra. Y eso, ¿de dónde los traen? De la raíz de la tierra. Entonces, quedó fácil decir pirú, pirú en Namdik pirú es tierra. An es el metal, y es el metal o cualquier metal. Y shul es la raíz de la tierra. Entonces, piramshul, quedamos. Hice esa propuesta a nuestras autoridades, a los maestros. Vea, no está la palabra, pero aquí está esta palabra que creamos así, piramshul. Piré de la tierra, an es la economía, y shul es de la tierra, entonces piramshul. Pues todo el mundo estuvieron de acuerdo. Eso es correcto, eso lo vamos a poner. Y entonces así, y así las palabritas que fuimos metiendo ahí y se tradujo la Constitución.
Constitution, article, magning. These were just a few of the many words that Mama Barbara, with the support of her community and the more than human beings of her territory, created collectively. In this way, they translated the entire interethnic chapter of the Constitution. In this translation, Namtric and Spanish crossed the river together. It was a meeting between the written law and the living law of the land. Through it, the Misak people and the 7 other indigenous nations affirmed their full and dignified existence within the laws of the state. "30 years after translating the Constitution into Namtric, Mama Barbara was appointed a member of the Colombian Academy of Language. At the beginning of the episode, we heard a portion of her speech during the induction ceremony.
Hoy, al convertirme en la primera mujer indígena, miembro correspondiente de la Academia Colombiana de la Lengua, recibo este honor con profunda gratitud, alegría y un enorme sentido de responsabilidad.
Mama Barbara says, "Today, as I become the first indigenous woman to be appointed a corresponding member of the Colombian Academy of Language, I receive this honor with deep gratitude, joy, and a profound sense of responsibility." Alongside her, an Afro-descendant woman was also appointed for the first time, Mari Grueso, a poet from Guapi. These recognitions are awarded for significant contributions to the Spanish language and literature. Recipients may be writers, linguists, scholars, or other prominent figures. However, the title is largely symbolic. It does not grant voting rights within the organization, but it does require recipients to contribute to the Academy's work and submit publications. Eventually, they may be appointed as full members and join the Royal Spanish Academy.
Soy consciente de que este reconocimiento va más allá de lo personal, simboliza la apertura, la inclusión y la valoración de nuestras culturas ancestrales dentro del tejido vivo de nuestra nación.
I am aware that this recognition goes beyond the personal. It symbolizes openness, inclusion, and the valuing of our ancestral cultures within the living fabric of our nation. As a leader, writer, and translator, Mama Barbara has dedicated her life to showing that coexistence between two worlds is possible. She has crossed the river time and again to demonstrate that both languages can live side by side, and that one culture can be enriched through dialogue with the other. On her path, crossing the river has also meant defending the territory through the guardianship of language, knowing that every act of translation is a bridge, a thread spun from the Misak worldview, woven in deep relation with the more than human world.
El diálogo entre el Namric y el español no es solo un intercambio lingüístico, es un encuentro de mundos. un puente entre tradiciones y modernidad. Este diálogo tiene el potencial de enriquecer no solo a la Academia Colombiana de la Lengua, sino a toda la sociedad colombiana.
The exchange between Namtric and Spanish goes beyond language. It's a meeting of worlds, a bridge between tradition and modernity. At 80 years old, Mama Barbara remains tireless. She continues her mission to preserve her language and is now working on an ambitious new project.
Estoy tratando de hacer el diccionario porque no lo tenemos. He trabajado mucho en muchas cosas, pero el diccionario no lo tenemos. Entonces, en este momento, la lengua quiere desaparecer un poco. Entonces, la juventud ya con esa tecnología que ha llegado, entonces hablan más con el celular, con los computadores que con los papás. Entonces, está perdiendo la lengua. Por lo tanto, quiero hacer el diccionario para que la juventud estudie un poco más, lea un poco más y aprendan también la lengua y que no nos acabemos. Ese es el propósito.
Mama Barbara is currently focused on creating a Namtric dictionary, a resource that doesn't exist yet. Although she has worked on many projects over the years, she sees this as urgent because the language is at risk of fading. With technology becoming more dominant, young people now spend more time on their phones and computers than speaking with their elders, and the use of the language is declining. Her goal is to create the dictionary so that younger generations can read, study, and reconnect with their language, ensuring it survives into the future. It's another way to ensure that the Misak people will recover it all.
Todavía trabajo en defensa de mi lengua. De eso se trata, ¿sí? Trabajo para defender, para protegerla, para cuidarla, para enseñar a las nuevas generaciones. Eso es, porque las personas que pierden la lengua, pues ya no es lo mismo. No tienen, se pierde la cultura. Cuando pierde una lengua, pierde la cultura, pierde todo. Pierde la dignidad de ser indígena.
Mama Barbara continues her lifelong mission to defend her language. For her, it means protecting, preserving, and passing it on to future generations. She believes that when a language is lost, it's not just words that disappear, it's culture, identity, and the dignity of being indigenous. When a word disappears, so too does the relationship it holds with the land and with the more than human world. For her, protecting the language is a way of safeguarding those vital ties, ensuring that the bonds between humans and more than humans endure. Above all, Mama Barbara holds on to hope, a word that does indeed exist in Namtric.
Claro que tenemos esperanza. Claro que sí. Podemos decir, Wendeshe Kenjavish. Eso es la esperanza que tenemos. Wendeshe Vayas. Todos nosotros decimos para luego, ¿no? Es tener cosas para luego. Wendeshe Vayas. Esa es la esperanza que tenemos. Pues nosotros tenemos una esperanza para el día de mañana, que sean mejores, que tengan algo, que tengamos esa dignidad de ser indígenas con todo.
Her hope lies in her people's mission, the goal of reclaiming everything, which remains strong and ongoing. As long as the language continues to be spoken, the culture stays alive, and so does the deep connection to the land.
Este honorable espacio de palabras y saberes sea entonces ese juego común desde donde nuestras voces quieran seguir caminando, enrollándose y desenrollándose juntas para construir una Colombia más justa, más diversa y profundamente orgullosa de todas sus raíces culturales. Muchísimas gracias. Un guan guan.
Crossing the River is a podcast from the More Than Human Life program Moth, based at the Center for Human Rights and Global Justice at NYU School of Law and 070 Podcast. Thank you to Mama Bárbara Muelas for sharing your poetry, your knowledge, and deep inspiration with all of us. This episode was co-created by Carlos Andrés Vaquero Díaz from Moth, Natalia Arenas, and me, Goldie Levy. The sound design and mix was made by Andrés Villegas. The images of this podcast are made by Nefasta. The music is from Cosmo Sheldrake. If you want to learn more about this project, please visit mothlife.org. Thank you for listening.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.